here is the end of the salt flats here. But let's walk over here. And I've been here since I was a kid, and when my dad was trucking, he'd always stop here and we'd look out and see how the salt flats are. He really liked the salt flats in a different way than anybody else, because for anybody to be into the salt flats here, the Bonneville, it was all about racing for him. There was a man, his name is Roy Steen, and Kent Fuller, and my dad was a driver, and he invested in the 4-engine Mustang. You'll see that on my playlist, Mach 4 Mustang. And Roy Steen, he's the one that wanted cash. He didn't want any sponsors. So when you see my dad's race car, you don't see Roy Steen on there, but Roy Steen is really a brilliant man. He designed the Mach 4 Mustang. It's all geared to four-wheel drive. And he did chromoly tubing with Kent Fuller. And he wanted to build a car for my dad to go to Bonneville. And when it comes to racing piston power, that is 500 miles an hour. And you have to go all the way over here and 500 miles an hour, and then turn around and go all the way back 500 miles an hour. And there's start points. And when you go back, then you recorded it, and he wanted to break the world's record on piston power. And Roy Steen designed that. That's what he was really good at in LA, where he built the car. And this here is water in the wintertime, and it sloshes. It has a little wave to it, and it moves and sloshes the salt here. And when it dries up in the summer, it becomes very smooth like marble. And that was really the thing in those days. Now you have to go to Australia because the salt is deteriorating, and they're blaming on the salt companies, Morton and all that. And it's not as flat. As you can see, it's really bumpy. But this is pure salt. As you can see how salty it is here. And this here is actually a racetrack for drag racing, and the Bonneville Speedway is actually part of this area here. And this is on the west side of Utah on I-80. And he had everything set where it smoked all 4 tires for expedition. And he had 21 sponsors, and his main goal before he died was to bring it out here and put a 2-speed transmission in it, change the body to a bullet-shaped body, fiberglass, and to change the tires, of course, because those are slick just for smoking all 4 tires. That was his sponsor, and with Tom McCurry and the Wagon Master. And he really wanted to do this where all he had to do was put a radiator in. It just had bottles, so if you filled it up, and then it wouldn't really overheat too much just to take it down the track. But to get a radiator system in there, 2-speed tranny, change the tires, and the body would be switched over to a bullet shape, aerodynamic. And before he died, it was the main mission that he wanted to do was to come to Bonneville with that car, and it was built for this run here, this Bonneville Speedway. And it was very popular was drag racing in those days, and that was in 1969 when he started racing all the way to 1974. But when fuel prices went up and they really took drag racing and all these big engines out, and Carter really stopped all that, then he started trucking. But when he got done, he really wanted to come and get that car set up for Bonneville. And that was part of what Roy Steen was a genius about, making that car. And it was all gear drive, not chains. And it was very competitive when it comes to the design. It's the only one in the world. And that's why I used to come out here when I was a kid and listen to my dad talk about what I just said to all of you about Bonneville and this great Salt Lake. And he used to come and take his son out here, and that was I. And all my life, we'd always stop here. And his dream, he always promised me that I'm going to take that Mustang, that Mach 4 Mustang, and I'm going to switch it around. It won't take that long. And Roy Steen taught him really well, and Kent Fuller, and those two, when it comes to geniuses engineering that car, and my dad was the driver and financed everything, he went ahead and wanted that dream. He has passed away now. It's too bad, but that was something that you'll see when you go to my playlist, Mach 4 Mustang Dragster. You'll see that car. It's in a museum in Galpin Ford in Los Angeles, and it'll always be there just for all of you to see my father's dream out here in the Great Salt Lake. And when you see this rest area here, I used to come here in the 70s, and even my sisters would remember this when they watch this video, and my mother too, especially on the east side over here with that rest area where we used to get out of the truck and walk up to that area where that overlooks this drag strip. And this drag strip is the ending, and that turns around and goes back to by Wendover. It's mile marker 2 is the Bonneville Speedway, and I hope all of you come and visit this area. It's what you don't expect, because there's nothing out here. It's just flat, but there's so many people that have died here, especially motorcycles, people that have invested in going the most fastest on the ground instead of air, even jet-powered vehicles, piston power, many different designs that they just wanted to go very fast. And this was the place that they could do it without any regulations and rules. And they really got into this in the 60s and 70s. And the 80s, they started bringing it back. And you'll see a period in the summertime when they do this. But it has changed, because this is February right now. This would be full of water, and it would be sloshing, and to smooth it out all through the winter to the spring, and then summer it would dry right down and it would be a marble. And it's really too bad that this ground is really bumpy, but when you do piston powers and jet cars and motorcycles, they have to go to Australia now. That's pretty well the only place. There's many times that they wish they can smooth this out better to really be competitive. There was only 2 in the world, and there was here Bonneville Speedway and in Australia, and that was the 2 that had that kind of recipe of having salt deposits and water that would wave and slosh all through the months to smooth it out. And it was just a rolling kind of water that moved in and out to smooth it. And when it dried up, it was glass. It was just like marble. And so this has a lot of history. Not many people know about this, but it will always be out here. And if you go to mile marker 113, that's Salt Lake City, and when you come over here to mile marker 10 is the rest area, and many would come here and to watch them go very fast, 500 miles an hour, and they would go 10 miles away, and you'll see them coming in, especially motorcycles too. They really got up there at 200 miles plus. The jet cars were going way over 500. And they would just race all the way across, turn around, and they have to go and race back. And there was actually points where you have to have that speed. And it was all set up, and many records have been broken on this salt flats here. And I hope all of you, if you ever travel like you would stop here and really think about all the people that had dreams, and they spent so much money. And they went ahead and did everything they could to come out here and have that dream. And that's all about going very fast. And many people like that. It's an art to a hobby, but it's a thrill. And many people, it's a passion. And I saw my father do that. He worked all his life and raised his children. And my family has done everything they could, we could, to support his dream. And I'm here, and my father isn't now, and it's really sad for I. But it's here. It's for all of you. It's about 6:30 in the afternoon here, so the sun's just coming down. But I'll take a little walk out here, and I'm actually just on solid salt. But you can see there's many tourists that come out here, and they drive right on the Great Salt Lake. I want to see what this is. But many people that walk across country, they have to go across this area here, 100 miles from Wendover. It's all casinos. And Utah, they drive right over there to gamble. And then they go ahead and they walk it. And this is a very lonely time to really be walking. But it gets very hot in the summer here. And Tuwali would be the next real town you go to. It looks like it's a stump. It's a wood stump they put out here. That's interesting. And it says, "I'm Donald Stump." That's cute. It looks like they put a stump out here in the Great Salt Lake, right by Bonneville. That's pretty neat. You see all the tourists out here. They just drive right off from the rest area right in here. With the sun coming down, I hope I can get all this for you, all of you. But everybody really enjoys this. Looks like people walked a little farther out here. But people come from all over, even in other countries, to come and visit all these areas. They must have had a fire over there. It looks like somebody made a fire here. It looks like a fire pit here. Yeah. This is I-80 and the rest area. It's never changed, even on the eastbound side. I remember coming over here, and you park in the rest area and you walk up, and you would overlook the Bonneville Speedway right here in this rest area, mile marker 10 on I-80, and that's on the eastbound side. On the westbound on this side, you can just pretty well come right onto the salt flats here. That's really neat. This is pretty well what the salt looks like. Let's get closer here. It's like you're on the moon. That's why they had to move this to Australia, because this is February. This would be full of water. Usually about a couple inches, and then it would slosh and smooth all this out. Let's see right here. There's salt here. It's a good mineral. It's very hard. It's solid. I hope everybody enjoyed this. Let's take a walk back. And there's probably some information here at the rest area, some plaques here I'll walk up to. The sun's looks like a clear day. I'd say it's about 42 degrees out. But in the summer, it's very, very hot here. It's not humid, it's very dry kind of heat. But it's an eye catcher. I remember they made this tree, and I filmed that on the way by. And when I was a kid, I watched them build that all the way up. Every week I'd come by, and when I had summers off, I'd be with my dad, and we'd watch that build up. I can't remember what the name of that tree was, but it's got balls on it, and I think it was the Tree of Life. And even the shell of it, they put on the side. They really made artistic on that. And that was about 10 miles down. If you're going east from this rest area, you'll see it on the north side of the freeway. But nothing's really changed here. I've been here since the 70s, and nothing really has changed. It looks exactly the same. Everything's salty. When you're done, you'll taste it on your lips when you lick it. That's in the air. Looking to see if there's a plaque here. Looks like there's one right here. Well, I'm taking my half-an-hour break, so it's good to come out and take a walk. I'll drive all the way to Reno. Welcome to Bonneville Salt Flats. Hope everybody can get that. Looks like there was a industry plaque here. It's pretty small, so I'll zoom in here so everybody can read that. I didn't go too fast. If not, you can just pause and read it. Looks like a place to wash your feet. Foot wash. That way you don't get in your car. That's neat. Alright, my half an hour should be up. Get this tough Ford. But I'll be driving to the sun here, but that's the most hardest time of the day when driving with the sun going down in your eyes. And when you go east, it's all about the sunset in your eyes. But I'll take this dirty truck to California. We'll see how those California trucks are looking these days. Nice and quiet. This has got a tri-pack on it, so there's no idling. Just shut it right off. Everything charges and keeps the engine warm. Battery's all charged. Well, at least the snow's all off of it now. Well, this is the tri-pack here. This is a really nice system here. You'll see that's got a nice little engine in there. Smokes a lot when it starts, but other than that, it's a good Thermo King kind of thing. The condensers up here for the air conditioner. It's a good system. It's actually a good truck. It really is. It's really nice. I'm glad I got these caps. I'm still going to get those Alcoas. That really looks nice. But I got this for the time being. They didn't have it at the TA Iowa 80 in Walcott, so I have to order it online. And other than that, this truck is really a good workhorse. I got Johnsonville brats in here. I have to set it at 0 frozen. I wish it was cleaned up, but I went through a lot of snow and ice in Wyoming and Sherman and Elk Mountain. But it's good to do a walk around. Make sure everything's fine. That sun's pretty bright. But I appreciate you taking a walk out to the Bonneville Speedway here at Salt Flats, mile marker 10 I-80. Hope all of you, when you travel, you get a chance to stop and check it out and be on the greatest salt pad ever. It's a good mineral deposit.